Hi guys! I told you, I'm still here. I didn't go anywhere. I did kind of forgot about you guys yesterday because I went to sleep. I was working and I was just so tired. And usually like right when I get off work, I'll do my YouTube channel. But I was asleep. But today, I wanted to talk about It's in Your Heart. Okay, so Marquela the Life Speaker, where we help cure those hearts, it is really dedicated to my deceased father. He passed away when I had just got my apartment. That was in 2016. That year, he passed on. I kept going to DMV to take the written test. And then the next year, I finally passed it. The reason why I bring it up is because my dad, he would always take me up to DMV so I can take the test. And I was almost there passing it. It took me a whole year to pass that test. And then I finally passed it. Here I am now with the permit. Just keep renewing it and renewing it until, I have a chance. But for the most part, I just remembered my dad. He was always encouraging me. And he was really, really motivated. Even when I didn't have hopes in myself, he had hopes in me. So 2018, okay? I went to college. My babies, they were in school while I was going to college. I went for business. I was only in there for 8 weeks. I did pass that course class. I learned a lot about it, and I enjoyed my 8 weeks of college. And after that, during that year, I did kind of practice learning how to drive. Someone did take me actually to the DMV, and I was test driving for a while. I wasn't passing the driving test, and so suddenly that person, they just stopped coming around. But the reason why I do Marquela the Life Speaker is because it's in my heart. Now, sometimes I be lollygagging and sometimes I don't do it all the time, but it's really in my heart. And I think about her so much. It is a business. It's my own little business that I created, and it's in my heart. So, it doesn't matter what type of business ideal you do. The main thing is knowing that if it's in your heart, it's different than you just wanting to do it. This is in my heart. And the reason why I'm trying to fix Marquela the Life Speaker, I'm trying to teach her. I love people so much and I want to encourage them because I don't want them to go through what I went through. But I also want them to teach them that they can do things by themselves. But remember the people who encouraged you or helped you get there. I just have so many hopes. A lot of hopes for a lot of people. That some reason Marquela, the Life Speaker, came up because I had to really put me into the mix. So, after my dad died, my whole world evolved around people after that. Because it made me think of him. He really loved us. He took care of us. He was a hard-working man. And all I knew about my dad is he loved to cook. He was a cooking man. He loved to serve food. He worked as a food server. And that's really all I knew about him. I didn't know much, but I knew he was a great man, a great father, and he took care of all his kids. So now I want to leave something behind. I know that I talk a lot, so I'm headed towards talking. My business will be somewhere out there talking. And so I figured that I trained myself on my YouTube channels. I trained myself on my Facebook streams. I trained myself live with my talking. And so I came out with that, not just the YouTube channels and the live streams, but also my blog. That's where my writing comes from. My reading, it's just something to encourage people at night. You know, if they're tired, they ain't got nothing to do, I read to them. My YouTube channel is to encourage them as well. Teach them that every day we're going through things. Now, I was doing my YouTube channels every single day, but things kind of twisted around. Everything started changing, but this business idea was still in my heart. So I decided to continue to do it. It didn't matter where I'm at. I just had to make room for it. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If something's in your heart, you should do it. Even if it might sound like the stupidest idea to someone else. You might be hitting something. You might be helping somebody. You never know what you might hit by encouraging somebody. My thing is, fashion is my thing. So I created notebooks, I created pens, I created shirts, and a dress. I'm a dancer, I'm a singer, I'm a writer, I am a talker, and I'm very outgoing. I love to talk to people. I honestly act like I'm alone, but if I pulled up my phone, you'll be like, whoa, she knows a lot of people. I know a lot of people, but I had to keep myself a little bit isolated for a minute, because when you have a business plan, not everybody's not going to go on that road with you, you know, and they might love you, but they may not support you. So I live life learning how to do things on my own. After my dad died, I learned a lot. Like, I also learned when people tell you they'll do something, some of them might not do it, but not all of them like that. I've learned I became very independent, too much independent, to where when people do help me, it's hard for them to reach me because I'm too independent. It's not a problem, but it is a problem. Because if I really, really need help, they wouldn't even know because I'm too independent. And I'll try to find out how to do it on my own. That's how I've been since my dad passed on. I learned how to do things alone. And it's been very difficult and very hard, you know, but I've learned how to do that by myself. I really want to encourage people, even after you lose a loved one, to leave them behind, you know, and what I mean, remember what they have taught you, you know, and it's hard, but it can be done. I've lost my dad. I saw him die right in front of me, and that was really horrible for me. Then, you know, I had trauma a little bit after me almost losing my children because of a misunderstanding. I've been doing good. I have no hospitals, which is good, and I'm going to keep on doing good. But I wanted to tell you guys, follow what's in your heart. Even if you're at a distraction moment or something just traumatic comes, still follow it. My dad literally passed on when I got my apartment, you know? And I didn't know how to respond to that. But I still learned how to live my life. And this job that I'm working right now, I had little difficulties, but God turned that around. I have something holding me right now about a case that's been going on since last year. God's turned it around. He's going to turn it around. I talk about God a lot because, honestly, it doesn't matter where you see. One day you might see me dressing in a church dress. Next day you might see me wearing a club dress. Next day you might hear me listening to gospel music. Next day you might hear me listen to rap music. It doesn't matter what you see in my appearance. Just know, though, I know who God is. That's where a lot of people get it confused with me. They say, if you praise God, why you do this? Why you do that? Praising God and talking to God is two different things. You know? Because it doesn't matter what you do. God should be always in your heart. Always in your heart. You are God's child, no matter what your mistakes are. It doesn't matter if you had addiction or you're doing something that you know you shouldn't be doing. God is your father and God will always love you. You know, and I thought about my dad, you know. It didn't matter what I did. He loved me for me. He loved me for me. It didn't matter. He loved me for me. I had my 2 children at a very young age. My first one very young, though. My dad didn't look at that. He looked at his daughter. He loved me. He cared for me. And I'm going to continue to live my legacy of just talking, because I feel like I'm going to be somewhere, and I'm going to be somewhere big. It's going to be somewhere out talking. I'm telling you. I'm very, very shy in person to some people, but I'm a really good talker. And that's why I try myself online and I train. I'm in training right now. And speaking of that, I got to get my writing going in Marquay the Light Speaker and get it updated. But for the most part, I enjoy talking to you guys, man. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to Marquay the Light Speaker, where we help cure those hearts. She is coming. She's coming. You might not see me every day on YouTube, but follow that blog, because the blog is where it's at. That's where I'm going to share my lives. That's where I'm going to share my blog and my quotes. So follow that live and keep in contact with me. Thank you so much for watching Marquay the Light Speaker, where we help cure those hearts. Subscribe the channel. Thank you so much for watching.